Sweet, far away, guys.
Well, Chief, how do you reflect on the Brisbane game, first of all?
I was pleased with the point in the end. I was disappointed that we gave the 2 points up at the end, but if you told me before going on the away trips that we'd pick up 4 points, I would have taken it with open arms. We've had a lot of disruption over the last couple of weeks with injuries, the suspensions, and just a little bit of unsettled squad in terms of like the cohesiveness in the group. I like sticking with certain set amount of players just to make sure we get through the games and the game plan. But with all the disruption, we also changed tactically. I think we almost had a perfect week away.
Did you feel like Ben Old was fouled? It seems like the consensus for most people was that he was, or does he just need to be stronger in that situation?
Well, initially, I thought it was a foul, and you can freeze frame it however, which way you like. I think both players, contested the ball, and if you look at our goal, you could also make the argument, Oscar made a foul on the player. So I think the referee was pretty lenient. He used his discretion there. I think if that's higher up the park, potentially it could be a free kick. But end of the day, that wasn't the reason why we drew the game. I just don't think we were smart in those last maybe 5 minutes. And because we had a lot of changes, I felt as though that's probably the reason why we conceded. But we could have been a lot smarter there. It wasn't the foul that was the reason why we dropped the 2 points.
After the game, you mentioned, or looking ahead to the Mariners game, that do you think they're one of the better teams to watch?
I think they're the best team in the league at the moment. I don't think there's any question. I think structurally, if you look at their defensive setup, they're probably since round, I think against the Jets, they've been the best team defensively. I think they don't concede a lot of goals. They're very hard to break down. I think they have some very good imports. I think Angel Torres is probably, if not one of the, leading attackers in the league at the moment. He's a definite threat, and you saw his threat against Adelaide. And I just like the way they play. I think they're quite efficient. I think their build-up's quite good. I think they actually have a really good intent in the way they play. And I feel like they're a little bit like us. They mirror kind of structurally and just the ideas and principles. So, yeah, it'll be a good game.
Are they sort of the model club? Because you look at them from last season, they won the grand final with a low budget, but the coach has gone, most of their starting lineup's gone yet. Mm-hmm. They've probably gone to another level.
The model club, I think what they've done this year is remarkable, considering the turnover. I think if you look at, budget-wise, we're very similar. And I think our academy and setup throughout the club, is very good as well. So I think we're very similar in the way we do things.
Talk about Angel Torres and the threat he presents. Do you plan more for him or for the supply to him?
Good question. I think it's a mixture of both. I think as much as we want to respect them and alleviate the threat, we're still at home, so we'll take the initiative. So it's a fusion of both worrying about what they do and hopefully they're worrying about what we're doing. So we have plans to curb their threats, and I feel like we can still stick to what we believe in. So it'll be quite interesting. I think tactically, from a tactical point, I think they'll pose us problems that other teams haven't given us, and I think likewise.
You often talk about how you enjoy the cut and the thrust tactically during a game. Do you expect that to be the case tomorrow?
I think you'll find that the game will be very similar to the Wanderers game, where both the Wanderers and us, we kind of try to alleviate our threats, and sometimes it can be boring, but it's done by design. And I think you'll kind of get that feel tomorrow. But in saying that, I think if there's an early goal tomorrow and it opens up, I think it can be quite an exciting game because both teams can attack, we both counter well, so I'll be looking forward to it.
And personnel-wise, you regain Tim Payne and Alex Rufer, you lose Nico Pennington. You happy with what you've got available tomorrow?
Yeah, so we have Sats, who's going to be out for a long time. We find out scans today, but he won't be back anytime soon. Moe Alte, I'm not sure is ready to start, so he'll go to the bench. But yeah, I'll have 11 fit players ready to start.
Right, so you don't have Moe Alte from the start tomorrow or Nico Pennington?
No.
So that leaves a bit of a hole for you in that?
Not really. I think the other players will do, just as good a job. Moe, it's more about just making sure that he's okay. He had a bit of tightness through the game, and unfortunately, the game against Brisbane, we made a sub, and then he reported like almost a minute and a half later. So we had to make sure that we didn't risk him for this run of games. So we had to take him off. But I'm also on the side of precaution. We also have another game on Saturday, which is 3 points as well. So we just need to manage, players accordingly and make sure, be on the side of caution.
And Ben Holt and Oscar Zavada, are their minutes still being managed?
Oz is out, so Oz will be out for, we don't know until probably end of today. He's having scans, so he picked up an aggravation in his groin. I don't expect to see Oz now maybe for at least 3 weeks, so maybe even 4 weeks. So
Zavada?
Yeah, so we won't find out until the scans today.
How big a
loss
was that for you?
Yeah, look, again, where this is not the first time something like this has happened. And he's a big player for us, but the rest of the squad will pick up the shortfall, and if they've done it before, and they'll do it again.
How are some of the other players that went off? Because I think you had mentioned BK. I think had a complaint as well.
Yeah, BK's fine. I think he's training fully today, so we'll try to get him through today. And the intention is hopefully, if Oldie trains well today, maybe we can give him some more minutes than the last couple of games.
How did Oscar find that news that he's probably going to be out for another 4 weeks?
Yeah, so again, today we'll find out. I think the best case scenario will be back on feet within 2-3 weeks. But until he finds out the exact extent, then he was disappointed. He was gutted end of the game. So I think what happened was he felt it when he came on. So it was just an unfortunate set of events, and it's just bad timing more than anything. You saw the impact that he had in the game before. He won us the game, so we're kind of hoping that when he came on, he would have the same impact. Unfortunately, he felt the tweak early, and then it just limited his range of movement. And to be fair, if I had the opportunity, I would have. If I'd known the extent, I would have actually subbed him off again just to make sure that he's all right. But it's an unfortunate set of circumstances, and he's the ultimate pro. He looks after his body like no one else. I just think it's just more bad luck than anything.
When you say Central Coast are the best team in the league, does that include you guys?
I don't say we're the best team in the league. The best team in the league for me is, they're the champions. They've regained their form, and the way they're going, they'll be very close to the top again. We haven't won anything yet, so we can't claim that title. Until the day we do, then we can, banter about that we're the best team in the league, and then we have to live up to that reputation. So, I don't include us. So that's something that I don't tell our team. I always say that if we want to be the best team, we have to beat these teams in order, and week in, week out. And look, we play Mariners tomorrow. We play West United on Saturday. Same value of points. So we just have to make sure that every game we're switched on, and we're working to an end goal now.
Same value of points, but tomorrow, top of the table clash in Wellington, public holiday.
Mm-hmm.
How big does this game rank in your career as a coach?
Well, it'd be the biggest at the moment, right? Until the next big game. I haven't had many big games. I thought Victory was a really good atmosphere, but I've also been as an assistant, I've been part of some big games as well. So hopefully it's not the last. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get a massive turnout. I think the boys deserve it. It'll be fitting, on a public holiday. It just makes more for the atmosphere, and if we can come away with 3 points, at home, then hopefully that builds a bit of momentum for us, in terms of crowd numbers and so on.
Do you sometimes have to pinch yourself, first season as a head coach at the Knicks, and you're top of the table, fighting in these big games? Yeah,
sometimes I reflect, and I think I've come a long way with the group. I don't think anyone put us in this position. But at the same time, look, whether we're first, 10th, last, or wherever we are, the process is still the same. We work hard. We try to give honest performances. We try to stick to what we believe in, and then hopefully the rest looks after itself.
How do you think the back five's been going?
Great. Hasn't lost yet. So, from a personal point, I think the fact that the squad can adapt tactically many ways is a true reflection where their mindset is. I think mindset is very open and very willing to be flexible, and the fact that they can adapt within games as well is something that if you asked him at the beginning of the year if we could get to that level, I would be highly, not sceptical, but I think it would take a lot of work. But the fact that they take information on board quickly and ideas quickly, and they're not fearful in change is very good for us, I think, long term, because what it does is it leaves a bit of uncertainty in planning for other teams, which we can capitalise on.
And you'd be confident in Isaac Hughes' ability if he has to come back in again?
I thought Isaac was fantastic against Brisbane. He looked like a normal A-League player that's been playing for a long time, and I was very buoyed by that. But that's, I think, a reflection of the way he is as a person. I think he's a good kid, and he trains very, very hard, doesn't complain. He is a humble kid. He just works hard. And you see it's reflective of his performance.
Yeah, and just on Zawada, like, how frustrating is that? Because that's the third injury he's had this season now. Such a key player for you guys. Yeah,
look, I feel for him more than anything, because I feel as though if he was fully fit and we integrated into the team the way we thought he could integrate, I think we probably have a little bit more at the moment. He's a different sort of striker to most other strikers. I think any injury is frustrating, and he wanted to have a big season. But again, once he comes back, and hopefully, knock on wood that everything's fine, he still has a big part to play in this team.
Did he come back too soon, or?
No, I don't think so. It's an aggravation of something that happened previously. So they're not correlated, the injuries. So it's just more, I think it was just unlucky more than anything.
Well, Costa's done pretty well whenever Zawada's been out, so you're relying on him again?
I rely on all my players, Costa's been great, I keep saying he's a fantastic leader on and off the park. So for me, he's invaluable. But, Bully's been doing a great job, Oldie, BK, even Oscar Van Hadem now is, he's stepping up to the play, he's getting regular minutes, and, he's been, very impactful. He started against Brisbane. I thought he was actually quite good once he settled into the game. It's a different dynamic when you start to when you come off the bench. So, yeah, I've been very happy with everyone.
You got former goal scorer Alex Rufer back as well?
Yeah, Roofs is back, captain. The thing is last game, you could tell we missed him. We missed the leader on the park, but Scotty did a really good job, especially in the second half. I think of just keeping the boys in the game. He was there was a very good leader, but the fact that Roofs is back now gives us a little bit more control in the middle. It's added value.
And those fresh legs with him and Tim would be crucial with a short turnaround?
Yeah, I think, look, in hindsight, it's probably a good thing that they haven't played that stretch of games. They probably say differently because they want to play every game, but I think it's maybe a bit of a godsend because we've got these next two games, very, very important games. We got through what we needed to against those other teams, but Payne does a lot of work. He went international window, came back. He really hasn't had a break for a while, so it's like a bit of a mini holiday for him, which is good, a bit of respite. And Roofs as well, maybe, a game off the pitch to reflect, see what the team needs, and, he can add that for the game tomorrow.
And any update when Salas will be in New Zealand?
So hopefully he'll be in this week. So he's got his visa. And I think he should be ready for minutes, hopefully for the Macarthur game.
If you were offered 4 points for the next two games, would you take it?
The intent is to get 6. Would I be disappointed? It depends what context. If we're 4-0 up and we ended up drawing 4-all, I would be disappointed. However, 4 points is still 4 points, means that we haven't lost, which at the end of the day, every point is valuable. And you saw, like last night, Macarthur was a massive win against Wanderers, and everyone's fighting, to get into the 6, which is a priority. And then once that 6 established itself, there'll be, then there'll be the race for top 4 and so on. So every point is valuable. So if I took 4 points, I wouldn't be disgruntled, but the intention is to get 6.